Good morning, good morning, good morning. Oh, that's what I'm talking about. Y'all already hyped up for what's coming, am I right? All right, let's give a round of applause for the Winston-Salem International Black Theater Festival. I am Dee Adams, Mayor Pro Tem, Council Member of the North Ward. I'd like to welcome each and every one of you this morning to our Walk of Fame here in Winston. For many of you, I'll give you a little side bit later, but first of all, I want to introduce the mayor's video, and then I'm going to introduce council members and others that are here as well. Team, are we ready for the video from the mayor?
Hello everyone, I'm Alan Joins. I'm the mayor of the city of Winston-Salem. It's my very distinct pleasure, along with my colleague Mayor Pro Tem Adams and members of the City Council, to welcome you here this morning for the 2024 unveiling of the inductees to the Arts, Cultural, and Entertainment Walk of Fame. We began this program in 2015, and we began discussions about this right after the 5 Royals were inducted into the National Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Mayor Pro Tem Adams and I talked about this, and we came up with an idea for creating our own Walk of Fame, which the City Council approved in 2015. We also created a nominating committee to review the applications for this, and since the first class was installed in 2016, 24 individuals have been inducted into the Hall of Fame. Today we'll add 6 more. This is a great event, and it gives us an opportunity to recognize perpetually those individuals who have made a huge impact on not only Winston-Salem's arts, culture, and entertainment fabric, but also national, in some areas international as well. The list of inductees this year include James Funches, Curtis K. Harrison, Shirley Holloway, the quote, barefoot storyteller, Charles Green, Bonnie Poindexter, and Charles Vardell. All great individuals, and I know the families are excited to be here today and look forward to the unveiling. Again, congratulations to all the new inductees and their families.
Now, I'd like to introduce the city council members that are here present today. We have Council Member Annette Scipio from the East Ward. And we have Councilmember Kevin Mundy from the Southwest Ward. Am I missing any other council members that may be here? We also have here this morning our city manager, Pat Pate, and our assistant city manager, Ben Rao. As many of you know, Winston-Salem, the ones of us that have grown up here, we are very proud of our cultural history. One of the things that I want to say is that I know over half of the inductees. I know, and I'm going to give you one quick story, Beverly, about Funches. When desegregation of the school system started in 1970, and Funches was moved to Atkins High School, and Mr. Wheeler went, I think, to West. It was no, secret that for me as a young black girl that, things happened that I wasn't chosen to be a letter girl or in the band because all my sisters were in it, and when I tried out for letter girls, I didn't make it. I tried twice. But when Funches came to Atkins, we had to march up and down the band room for trials, and Funches gave me some life as a young black girl, 17, that I mattered, and he chose me to carry the A for Atkins High School. Curtis Harrison and my sister Tanisha Adams Dodd, they were best friends. They talked every day. Curtis came by our house. He had a special quality that we knew Curtis was going somewhere. He was on the move. He had that great personality that lit up a room or a space anytime he entered it. And Charles Green, Went over to his house, my 9th grade at Kennedy Junior High. We were having a 9th grade prom, the first one ever. And we wanted the superiors or the versatiles. And we had to go by their houses because that's where they practiced, like they said, in the garage or in a room in the house. And we went over there, me and Mr. Jones, the teacher at Kennedy, and lived on 14th Street, and at Henry Jones. And after listening to him, and I'd heard him, I'd been to, as a teenager, heard him at things. And we decided that they would be the band for our first 9th grade prom at Kennedy, and they turned it out. So again, those are just some of my memories of the individuals. I want to introduce our City of the Arts video produced by our city's Marketing and Communication Department. First of all, give the city's Marketing and Communications Department a hand. They do all the videoing and everything that you see on 13 and YouTube and all of that. But what we'll do is it will talk about the highlights of the arts leaders here in Winston-Salem. Let's roll the tape, guys.
The arts in Winston-Salem are not just important, but they're essential.
The arts are an incredibly effective tool in building community.
Arts play a crucial role in making Winston-Salem a great place to work, live, and play.
You walk down the street and you just feel that hum of people investigating, exploring, and that's creativity, which is ultimately artistic.
The greatest thing that I can think that the arts bring to Winston is synergy. Synergy and energy.
Brings together people from different ethnicities, faiths, walks of life, and allows them to commune together, to learn about each other.
Well, the city styles itself as the city of arts and innovation, and the arts come first.
And the arts allows people to sit next to each other, to laugh together, to learn about each other together. So it's just a great way to build community. The Winston-Salem arts community is the most collaborative arts community I've ever participated in.
The arts have a very long and deep-rooted history here in Winston-Salem.
You feel that the moment that you come into the city, you see it with public art, you see people gathering, you see artists creating and making. It's vibrant and it's all over Winston.
Drama, dance, music, opera. I just think, I don't know of another community that has this kind of a resource. In terms of young, really talented people.
Thank you. You did a good job. They say good job, good job. Now I would like to introduce the Walk of Fame video, which features the nominations introducing us to each inductee. We start first with our 2023 nominees and then our 2024 nominees.
Over and above the fact that he's my wonderful brother that was creative, I think what he gave back to the community is what makes it important. And I cannot go one day without someone saying, Mr. Funches helped me with this. And Mr. Funches is the reason that I got out of school in the first place, because he didn't take any jive. You know, you have got to be on par or else he would let you know, and then he would come back and say, okay, look, you want to be something, you got to do this and you got to do that. And all at the same time, he would say, but I'm going to teach you. I'm going to teach you how to make music. I'm going to teach you how to draw. And they loved him for that.
His first teaching position was at the historical Atkins High School. So that sustained him in those bookends in those institutions. And from there, he was into jazz music and classical music. So not only was he this popular teacher, but he was also this cool teacher who also played in jazz clubs on the weekends. So I think those contributions early in his professional career is what solidified him as being an important figure in the art community. He gravitated towards jazz and started playing jazz full time. And that was where he remained. He played other forms of music along the way, but it was primarily jazz throughout the rest of his life, along with teaching and writing popular music for his students. If you ask just about any person who attended Dalton Junior High in the 80s and 70s or South Park High School, they have a Mr. Funches story.
He was a member of the Associated Artists of Winston-Salem and arranged music and conducted the band for the Big Four high school talent shows and also for the North Carolina Black Repertory performances. And that was a very big thing for him to do.
But at the kitchen table, on weekends mostly, I was awakened by him this Saturday at midnight, and he had a lamp shade removed and the top light was on. The radio was on WFDD, jazz or classical or whatever was playing. And he had pliers in his wire, and it was this oblong, nondescript whatever he was working on. But some months later, it turned out to be his eagle wire sculpture, which is probably his most popular piece and one a lot of people still ask about to this day. I can say that my father's importance to the arts community, it went well beyond the classroom, so he did it all. Yeah.
My brother, Curtis, started at a young age, and he set out with the goal to make a difference. He was a wonderful singer and recording artist. And unfortunately, his life was not extended any further than 33 years. But he took advantage of the opportunity to share with Winston-Salem and the world his music. And it was such a joy to be with him and assist wherever I could. To hear him sing and his transformation to a recording artist was just phenomenal. And he put his life work into it, and it affected so very many people. If you listen to his music today, it still resonates. I love my mother, and she did a fantastic job of professionally putting her craft together to tell stories. And she just had a craft that she mastered. And she, as well as my brother, went around the world telling her stories. Some she made up, some that she read from the library books that she was exposed to. I'm gonna elaborate on my mother quite differently because she was some kind of special when she told her stories. She became that character or that announcer for the story. And she placed herself in the story. And she mastered her craft of telling stories to the point where she literally put on a show along with telling her story. She would jump around on stage and she would illustrate with all of her hands and with her facial expressions, and she told the stories to an anticipating audience. The children would be captivated. She impacted Winston-Salem first before she went abroad. She could really convince you that this story was a part of her, and she became part of it. And I commend both of them for what they've done for the arts and for the music industry and for Winston-Salem. Thank you so much, Winston-Salem, for what you're doing. And all the nominees, all the recipients of this award should be recognized as well. You all have done a wonderful job of enhancing Winston-Salem and the communities and letting everyone know that it's never too late to reach your professional gift and talent and craft.
We have in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, an incredible history of music and musicians. There have been a number of significant guitar players throughout, one of whom is Charles Green, who was the guitar player for the Versatiles. And one of the great things about them was they were black and white players playing together. And that's huge, you know? You think about that in a global scale, and there weren't as many groups doing that as you would have hoped. So Charles was a part of that movement forward, and he was really, really good friends with another great guitar player, Sam Moss, who is already on the Walk of Fame. But to me, the great thing about what Charles Green provided was a brilliant local guitar player. He was active for decades and decades, and you know, he was in American Hot Wax, and so he got some global notoriety for that, for sure. But around Winston-Salem, he did so many things. He was a part of the North Carolina Black Repertory Company's orchestra. He was one of those guitar players that was just miles ahead of everybody else. So I think that what Charles represents to me is a long commitment to the arts in town, a desire to see younger musicians continue on in his path, and just an inspiration and a mentor to so many. And I think it's overdue to have this Walk of Fame star for him, and I'm glad to have been a part of making that happen. Just incredible wealth of talent, you know. Having grown up in Winston-Salem in the 1960s and 1970s, and played music all through that time. But I will say that it was not an easy road to hoe. It was a hard community to come up in for a number of reasons. You had to be good. You couldn't just kind of skate by. And I think Charles is a perfect example of that. This was a band that learned their lessons and knew how to perform, knew how to work a song up, knew how to make it interesting, knew how to keep it energetic. And I think that if you saw the Versatiles, you could not help but feel that pulsing from the stage. It was palpable.
Connie Poindexter was a force for the arts in the Winston-Salem community. She was just everywhere and the best ambassador for arts in this community. She was a fundraising dynamo, really came in and rescued companies, arts organizations that were struggling. She understood the importance of volunteering, so she helped create those programs too, what we call the Operators program at Piedmont Opera and the Connectors program at SECA are all through her innovative ideas and her very much her driving force. If she asked you to do something, you might as well just go ahead and decide you were going to do it, because you were going to do it whether you thought you were going to like it or not. First of all, you did not ever want to disappoint her. She had that thing about her that made you want to please her. And she worked just as hard or harder than anybody else in the room. And she expected a lot of everybody. She had that quality like your favorite teacher. You know, you want to please her. So that she very much embodied that. She was a mentor to a great many people, especially women in the nonprofit industry. I count myself privileged to be among those. And she would ride you hard to make sure that you were living up to your potential and doing everything that you could do to succeed and excel. She was also terribly funny. She had an incredible dry wit, and she could light up any room that she went into. She had the ability to make you feel like when she was talking to you that you were the only person in the room, even if there were 1,000 people there. You know, I think that her love of the community was reflected in the way that she served the community. She volunteered and she made sure that she was always inviting someone else to participate. And what a difference she made to the way that this community looks today. I mean, I think about that. She had her hand in so many things, in rescuing things that were important to her and that are stalwarts in this community now, who or which may not have been here without her.
Let me preface all of that by saying I'm a rabid Salem College alumna, and I think the institution has been really important to the growth of Winston-Salem. And the more I heard about and learned about Charles Vardell, the more I saw how instrumental he was in the beginning of Winston-Salem being known as the city of the arts, now arts and innovation. And if it hadn't been for him, this music school would not have been as well known. He started the symphony here. He was on the first Arts Council, head of the executive committee of the first Arts Council, but Charles Vardell was a phenomenal individual. The influence of that man on this town was just of inestimable value. But I think he recognized that the city was ready for bigger things and that he had the makings of bigger things right here. So when I learned about his, starting the symphony, it was very cool. A couple of years ago, the symphony celebrated its 75th anniversary, and Margaret Sandreski, his daughter, celebrated her 100th birthday. So those two things kind of coinciding was really sort of interesting. I gathered that he was someone who worked really well with the business community, and that was a little bit unusual. I think artists are seen sort of as this thing apart, but he was someone that really was very comfortable in the business community. I do think he's an under-recognized composer. He must have been a remarkable man. He was sort of ahead of his time. He was very interested in the music of Appalachia, and he was very interested in the Moravians and what they had done, so he pulled all of that together in his compositions. And a lot of really notable musicians spoke of him as this very important musician in that period of time. He was not a snooty kind of classical musician the way we think of them. He was just all about the music and about people appreciating it, and I think he did wonderful things for this town.
Now we'll have Susan Spangauer to come up and give us further instructions as to the next.
Well, good morning, everyone. I'm so excited that you all were able to be here today to help us celebrate these amazing, awesome people that will never be forgotten because of those who wanted to nominate and bring attention to their talents. So this was part one. We're getting ready to do part two, which we will all go outside to the sidewalk on the Cherry Street side. So if you just go out the door, go out this door to the right and then to the left, you will see. Let's gather there as quickly as we can to unveil each of our inductees' beautiful bronze medallions. Thank you. James punches. 1, 2, 3. The count of 3, we are going to unveil Curtis K. Hairston. 1, 2, 3. All right, and now here comes Mom, Shirley Hairston Holloway. 1, 2, 3.
You're so welcome.
On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3.